Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back at today with another fantasy football video. In today's video, I got you guys the Week 16 quarterback start or sit decisions. Now, when I go through every single game from Saturday all the way until Sunday, or Monday night, technically, because there's no Thursday night games this week, just 3 games on Saturday. Now, before I get into these Week 16 start or sit decisions for the quarterback position, I'd like to give you guys a word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite way to play daily fantasy sports. Now, obviously, you guys are fantasy football guys. You love the NFL, but Overlay DFS also offers NBA games. I've been getting more recently into NBA for when the NFL season ends, and my sorrows of playing fantasy football are there. I love fantasy basketball as well on OverlayDFS.com, but we're going to talk about football here because this is a fantasy football channel. Now, there is a couple of game modes you can play on this website, but my favorite game is the progressive game. This week, the main progressive game is $22 entry, and the top 10% win 9 times your buy-in, which is $180. But if you hit the beautiful 12-0, you can win over $11,000, and it's going to continue to rise all the way until kickoff. It could be well over that by the time Sunday begins. So let's go into it, and let me show you guys how this works. It is very simple. You make 12 picks plus 3 alternate picks in case any injuries type or something like that has to happen, where that some games get voided. Now, right here, it's very, very simple. It is just one player versus another. Who scores more fantasy points? Anyone could do it. Even someone like me can. It's pretty easy. Drew Brees versus Ryan Tannehill. Dak Prescott versus Carson Wentz. Baker Mayfield versus Sam Darnold. Who scores many or more fantasy points? And there are many, many more options. So make sure you guys check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. And we are back. Please make sure to check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. Let's get right in the video. Week 16 quarterback start or sit decisions. The first game here we got is the Saturday special. The first game, Texans at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I love both quarterbacks in this matchup. Obviously, I would give the slight edge to Deshaun Watson because this Buccaneers defense is fucking atrocious, but the Texans defense is not all that good as well. And I believe Jameis Winston, even without Mike Evans, even without Chris Godwin, I believe he could have a humongous game without those guys. We saw last week Godwin only in for about the first half of the game, that he ended up hurting his hammy, ow, my leg type of deal. He was wobbling out. Now he's not going to play all year, but you want to know who is going to play? Brashad Perriman, and I believe he shoves his cock all deep into this Houston Texans defense. I think that Jameis Winston has yet another humongous game, and I think Deshaun Watson also puts up a pretty good game in this game, a game that has shoot out potential with a little bit of a game where you don't see very much running in this game. Next game here, we got the Bills at the New England Patriots, an AFC East game. We're going to be sitting down both quarterbacks in this matchup. Both of these defenses, to me, are a bit too strong for the quarterback play at hand. Josh Allen obviously can get the points running the ball, but are you really going to risk playing Josh Allen up against a rival Patriots with a great defense? I would not do that. I would sit Josh Allen down and let him ride the pine for your fantasy football team in the championships. Tom Brady really has not done shit at all the last couple of weeks. He's not a quarterback that you can trust to put up a big game for you to be able to win your fantasy championship, so I would stay clear of TB12 this week. Next game here, we got the Rams at the 49ers, which concludes the Saturday games. This is the Saturday night game. I'm sitting down both QBs in this matchup. Now, Jared Goff, he's hot or cold. He's either one or the other. He's either going to put up a big game for you, like we've seen in weeks past, or he has a terrible game like last week up against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I believe that this 49ers defense is no joke, and I'm not going to be able to trust Jared Goff in this game. This 49ers offense looked atrocious with a capital A, if that's how you spell atrocious, the last game. All right, they played up against the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons couldn't stop me. You could put me in the game, and I'd run and pass all over that defense. All right, guys. Now, he's playing up against the Rams, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really trust Jimmy Garoppolo either. Jimmy Garoppolo really didn't do shit last week, so I'm not really going to be able to trust him this week up against a defense that is obviously much better than the Atlanta Falcons. Next game here is the start of the Sunday slate. It is the Steelers at the New York Jets, and obviously you're going to be sitting down Devlin Duck Hodges. Obviously, Duck Hodges really didn't do shit on Monday night up against the Buffalo Bills. He was just throwing picks left and right. I really do not trust him in this game, even up against a trash Jets defense. Sammy Mono playing up against a harder defense in this game. The Steelers defense is pretty much no joke. Even the Bills had some struggle scoring on them, so I think that Sam Darnold will have a terrible game this week. Him and his mono are not going to be able to defeat this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, so I do not trust him this week. Let him sit on the pine in your championship game. Next game here, we got the Saints at the Tennessee Titans, and if there's any 10 that I want to see, it is going to be Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill has been on fire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 M's in my bank account. I don't know how many games in a row Ryan Tannehill has been on fire, but he has been riding hot and riding dirty for your fantasy football team, and I believe that Ryan Tannehill has yet another big game this week up against the New Orleans Saints. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Nick, last week the New Orleans Saints let Jacoby Brissett do nothing. Their defense is so good. Ryan Tannehill and Jacoby Brissett are like exactly the same skill. You know that, Nick, right? No, that is false, fake news. Ryan Tannehill is much better than Jacoby Brissett. Ryan Tannehill is in for a big game this week, and you can quote that. I believe Ryan Tannehill has a big game this week up against the Saints, a game that I believe is high scoring, even though these are two defenses that are pretty good. I like Drew Brees as well. Obviously, last week, Drew Brees passed Peyton Manning on the touchdown leaderboards. Congratulations to Drew Brees. The refs ruined the great moment where he threw a touchdown, and then they fucked it all up. He just did it again. You know, obviously Drew Brees is a god. He's going to be able to do it again. And this week up against the Tennessee Titans, I believe this could be a high-scoring matchup where Drew Brees balls out of control. Next game here, we got the Panthers at the Colts, and if you guys have enjoyed the video thus far, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. Panthers at Colts. I do not like either quarterbacks in this matchup. Whether it was Will Grier, whether it was Kyle Allen, I did not like them in this matchup. This Colts defense is terrible against the pass, but I just could not trust either of those guys. It seems like it's going to be Will Grier at the helm this week for this Carolina Panthers team. And are you really going to put Will Grier in, a guy you've never seen play an NFL game, into your fantasy lineup? Unless you're in a 6-quarterback league, you better look elsewhere than Will Grier. Jacoby Brissett is also going to be a sit. Last week up against the New Orleans Saints, he could not do anything. Even though this Panthers defense is not all that hot, I do not trust Jacoby Brissett. It seems like this Colts offense likes to run. They were down by 1 million points up against the Saints. You know what they did was run. Knock one time if you're with me. Jacoby Brissett is not going to do shit in your fantasy championship game. Next game here, we got the Bengals at the Miami Dolphins. So I'm going to be starting up Ryan Fitzmagic in this game. Obviously, going up against the Bengals is a great matchup for the quarterback position. The Bengals defense is fucking atrocious. They're just not there. They're just blind or something. They're doing a bit of the fucking, what is that called? The bird box challenge on defense. They've got some type of a bandana around their eyes, and they're trying to play defense. That just does not work in real life. Ryan Fitzmagic is going to have a big game this week up against the Bengals, just like he had last week. Now, when we're sitting down the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, bang, 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 bang. Andy Dalton, you really cannot trust him. Even up against a not-so-hot Miami Dolphins defense, I do not think he does well enough to crack the top 12 or top 14, which would warrant him being a start in fantasy football. Next game here, we got the Ravens at the Browns. Now, obviously, you're going to start Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is my #1 quarterback on the week. Obviously, you could have fucking anticipated that coming. Nick, oh my god, you put Lamar Jackson at #1 pretty much every week. Do you have any creativity? Half the time, he's not actually the #1. Sometimes he's the #2. Are you fucking dumb? Nick, you idiot. That's what you're probably thinking. You know, obviously, Lamar Jackson's must start. He's playing up against the Browns. The Browns defense is not that hot. Myles Garrett is sitting on the... I don't even know where Myles Garrett is. I don't know if he even goes to the game. He's probably taking some UFC fucking practice so he can figure out how to get Mr. Mason Rudolph in the helmet again. So I don't really know what he is doing. Obviously, he is suspended indefinitely. I love Lamar Jackson in this game. And I'm going to be sitting down Baker, the faker Mayfield, up against a tough Ravens defense. Next game here, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, like I said last week, the Atlanta Falcons miraculously beat the 49ers. And Matty Ice had a decent game. Now, this week he's playing against the Jaguars. I believe Matt Ryan could have a big game in this spot. But I want to caution you. The Falcons, every week, look completely different, at least to me. Some games, Matt Ryan pretty much is either on fucking fire, no matter what defense he's playing. He could be playing up against the worst defense in the NFL, and he could be ice cold, but then he will be on fire against a super hard defense. You just never know what's going to happen with Matt Ryan. He is a bit of a risk, at least to me, but I will play him this week up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think he is a good start with a whole lot of potential up against this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. I'm going to be sitting down Gardner Minshew. Minshew Mania is going to be riding the pine. I do not trust him even up against this trash Falcons defense. The Jaguars could just completely commit to the run and run like the Indianapolis Colts until your fantasy team cries because Gardner Minshew did not do shit for your fantasy team. Next game here, we got the New York Football Giants at the Washington Redskins. Now I'm going to be sitting down all three quarterbacks in this matchup. Obviously, only two of them are going to be playing in this game. Whether it's Eli or Daniel Jones, I do not trust any of them to win my fantasy football championship, even up against a terrible Washington Redskins defense. I do not trust Eli Manning or Danny Fumbles to be able to perform in this game. And I'm going to be sitting down Dwayne Hashcans, the trash can. Obviously, last game, he actually played quite well up against the Philadelphia Eagles, but I do not trust him in this spot. I don't know how you could trust Dwayne Hashkins to win your fantasy football championship. Next game here is the Lions at the Broncos. And like I said, guys, if you have not subscribed already, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. In this game, we got Drew Horsecocklock versus David Blau. Now, in this game, I predict that this game may be a bit low scoring. The Broncos defense is okay. David Blau is not that good. So I think this may be interception city for David Blau, and I think he may not be able to succeed in this game. So I would sit him down. Drew Horsecocklock could potentially have a boom game, but I just do not trust him yet. We haven't seen enough of Drew Lock for me to be able to trust him in my championship game, and I have him nowhere near ranked near the top 12 on the week. Next game here, we got the Oakland Raiders at the Kansas City Chargers. Obviously, they're not the Kansas City Chargers. They are the LA Chargers, the LA Superchargers, soon to be the Las Vegas Raiders versus the LA Superchargers. So, with that said, considering I'm dumb and said the Kansas City Chargers, we're going to be starting up Mr. 12 Kids, Philip Rivers, but he is the next to his name because I am so unsure about Philip Rivers. It is unreal. This matchup is easy. It should be light work for the man with 12 kids, Philip Rivers, but Philip Rivers just has not been performing all that well. But if there is one game for me to put all my trust into the man who has all the sex, he has like 12 fucking kids. It is unreal. He is going to have a big game this week up against the Oakland Raiders. I really do believe that, but there is a lot of risk in starting Philip Rivers. I'm going to be sitting down Derek Carr in this game. He just really has done nothing this season aside from a couple of games at the beginning where he looked super hot. Recently, he has looked deflated. He has looked terrible, just like Tom Brady's balls when he is on an NFL team. Obviously, shout out to Deflategate. We love that. Derek Carr is not going to do well in this game. Next game here, we got the Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. And I like both quarterbacks in this matchup. Kyler Murray has been playing quite well the last couple of games. Obviously, you can rely on him to run the ball a lot with his legs and get you those fantasy points that way. So you don't need him to necessarily throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns to have a big fantasy game for your team. And up against the Seattle Seahawks, I think he has just good enough of a game to warrant being a start, but probably not a top 5 or top 8 quarterback on the week. I like Russell Wilson in this game as well. Russell Wilson is a must start every single week. I don't need to tell you that. This matchup is great for him. The Arizona Cardinals defense is really not that good. He should be able to easily slice and dice and look surgical out there up against the Arizona Cardinals. Next game here is the Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. Another NFC East matchup here. I'm going to be starting up Dickie Dak Prescott in this game up against the LA Rams. They were looking dominant. The Cowboys were looking like, fuck you guys, we are actually not that bad. But this game means a whole lot for both of these teams. This could be a very pass-heavy attack from both sides of the ball. I really do like Dak Prescott in this game, though. I feel like I can trust him a lot more over a guy like Carson Wentz. Now, Carson Wentz, obviously, in a deeper type of league, you may want to start him this week. He definitely has the upside to have a big game, but with a huge lack of wide receiver talent on the team besides Zach Ertz, Goddard, and Miles Sanders, I really do not trust Carson Wentz this week, and that's why he's a sit for me. But if you're in a deeper type of league, you may just have to start him to try and win your championship game. Chiefs at Bears is the next game here, and I'm going to be starting up Pat Mahomes, obviously, for my fantasy team. Pat Mahomes is a must-start every single week, even up against a tough Bears defense. I really think Pat Mahomes could prevail and put up a big spot for your fantasy team. I know he kind of disappointed last week up against the New England Patriots. He still had a pretty good game, but this week up against the Bears, I think he has an even better game. I'm going to be sitting down kissing titties Mitchell Trubisky because I just could not fathom putting Mitch fucking Trubisky in your lineup to try to win the fantasy championship. I don't know how you could do it. You must have some large cojones in order to do that. So I'm going to sit Mr. Mitchell Trubisky down on the bench. And now on to the final game, the Monday Night Football special. Packers at the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to be starting up Aaron Rodgers in this game, but he has the next to his name because some games Mr. Matt LaFleur likes to dial up a game that is just a run-heavy attack. They're just not slicing and dicing through defenses like they used to in the past couple of years with Mike McCarthy. if that was his name, I believe it was. Aaron Rodgers should be able to have a big game this week up against the Vikings, but I'm not going to necessarily put all of my belief in Aaron Rodgers. Kirk Cousins, on the other hand, I like slightly more in this game. I think this may end up being a pass-heavy attack for the Vikings with Dalvin Cook out, Adam Thielen returning, Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs. I think that they're going to have big games, so I really do like Kirk Cousins this game. You like that? Thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. I love each and every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. We are now over 3,300 subscribers. That means the whole world to me. Make sure to click the subscribe button. Click on one of the videos that's on the screen as well. And make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. Come fly, come play with me on overlaydfs.com. Goodbye, my friend.